Greetings, everyone. I'm Dr. Colosimo, and I welcome you to the very first edition of the 2026 Weekly Juan Diego. We're excited to be here today. I have with me our theology department, Mr. Andrew Zinman. Welcome, Mr. Zinman. Class of 2016.
Yes.
And you were in my daughter's class, weren't you?
Yeah, we graduated together in 2016. That was a great class.
It was the largest class in the history of Juan Diego.
Yeah.
And the 2 years before, my son's class was the largest. And so during that period of time when you were a sophomore and my son Dominic was a senior, that was the largest enrollment we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because your class was so large and my son's class was large, but you were I think you were 241 students.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Good job on being the largest class.
Yeah. And
then we have our senior class president, Kolin Rasmussen. Welcome, Kolin. And we're here to talk about the Senior Service Project. And the reason we have Mr. Zinman today is because we will be celebrating our 10th anniversary of doing this Senior Service Project. And so I want to begin with Mr. Zinman. Can you tell me a little bit about that first year and kind of this, I don't know, you were the pioneers of trying to do what we do. And what was it like to be told that, you're going to take a week off of school in the middle of January and go to service?
I remember when we heard about that, everyone was super excited in the class, but they were also a little like, what's going on? We're taking an entire week off of our senior year. Everyone was super nervous about where their placement was going to be. But I think the overall sentiment was everyone was really happy to have this opportunity to serve. And back then we had service hours that were mandated each semester and for the school year. And it was a great way to get those fulfilled. But then it turned into something deeper where everyone really had meaningful experiences. So yeah, there was just a lot of excitement going in, I remember.
Yeah, so it began with, okay, it's great, but knock off all of our service hours, but then it's far more complicated and far more rewarding than just what the typical service hours were.
Yeah, I think so. Like the amount of students in my class who were able to form deep relationships with the people that they served, and then even with each other was really, really good. So people oftentimes are placed with a lot of classmates they didn't even know, but they made a lot of friendships. But also, like, it was kind of tied to this idea of service, which really bonded people in a way that maybe they weren't familiar with. So it was really awesome, yeah.
Yeah. So Kolin, your class is the 10th class that will have gone through the service project. So we have the Alpha and we have the Omega. And so what are your thoughts about what this experience is?
Honestly, I'm pretty excited. I really want to gain compassion and better relationships with people there, especially people that are disregarded from society. I'm serving at Catholic Community Services at St. Vincent Soup Kitchen, so I want to, understand some stories about the homeless people, and I think it'd be great to connect with those people and see how their story is.
So explain the deal. I think most people inside the school know what it is, but so we're going to take a week, and is it all 5 days? Is it 8 to noon? What's the kind of the format of this Senior Service Project?
So it goes from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's from Monday to Friday. You arrive 15 minutes early, prepared, and then you go in, you do a bunch of different jobs, such as, cutting food, serving it to different groups. And then, for example, at St. John the Baptist, you help children. And with that, you just, have a good time serving and helping other people around you.
So in 2 weeks, you actually do the service, but today, what is the orientation all about?
So it's about, being tidy, prepared, just on time in general, and being motivated and respectful to all the people around you, not just the people you're serving, but also, the staff.
And so will someone from the soup kitchen be orienting you, or is it Miss Moynihan? Or
it will be from someone from the soup kitchen, yes.
Are they coming here?
No, we're going to South Salt Lake,
You go down there, and so you get to see what the layout is, where to park your car, and how to dress, and so you kind of get this orientation, right?
Yeah.
So you don't just show up on that Monday at 7:45 in the morning and say, "Someone throw me an apron," right? You kind of hit the ground running on that Monday morning because of the orientation that's happening today.
Yes.
Do you recall, Mr. Zinman, was that too long? I think what happened is that you ended up having to short circuit your service project because you had a debate tournament.
Yeah. So I was actually really sad that we had to go to Arizona State for a national debate tournament that week for speech and debate. But I was at the Alta Ridge Assisted Living Center, and I remember within like the 3 days that I was there, I was really starting to make some great bonds with the old folks that were living there. My favorite activity was like sitting and reading with the old people. They just loved to have someone read out loud to them. And I thought my time was way too short. And I think a lot of my classmates thought that too. And some of them stayed with the organizations they were placed with and helped volunteer after that. So I think it's the perfect amount of time to get initiated, because it's not just one day, right? But you actually get to start building that like feeling of service and relationship, but then you can have the opportunity to stick on with a lot of those places.
I think that was the idea, is that historically what we had done up until this project was created is just like quick hitters, like, oh, someone needs 2 hours to go over to the school or to the parish or to the senior center and wrap presents. And so as a quick hitter, you go in, you do a job, and then you leave. And although that's actually kind of an appropriate thing for like underclassmen, but what we wanted to try to accomplish with the seniors was an elongated experience, because Colin, I think you'll find out, is like, okay, Monday at the soup kitchen, you'll be new, and it'll be a learning curve and kind of exciting. And second day, probably the same way, but I wonder what will happen come Wednesday when the newness wears off, and now it's like, okay, it's not a job, but it's a real service kind of an opportunity, that maybe all the glitter is gone and you get to buckle down and just actually serve.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe, I can like carry that on, not just to, senior service project, but maybe after, like in the future, maybe when I'm off in college, I can go back and serve there too.
yeah. So that's kind of the idea, is if you make the experience immersive enough, 5 days, whatever, 7, 8 hours a day, that's immersive. And it's a lot different than a quick hitter that says, we need a group of kids over in the parish to do whatever for 2 hours and then you're done. The idea of the senior service project is to steep the students into the service program long enough, deep enough, that it could be transformative. And I think what Mr. Zinman said is true. Like over the last 10 years, a lot of our students, they get done with the week and it's like, oh man, I'm kind of sorry that I'm not coming here next week. And so then they begin to volunteer, and they begin to kind of maybe go back to that agency. And some of them, I did it for a number of years, and then some of them actually changed their career goals as a result of the senior service project. So maybe they went in and they were going to major in business or finance, and then they had this experience and they come out of it and they're more interested in some of the service occupations. And so we have found it to be a kind of, not for everybody, but for a number of students, transformational, that it really changes the way they look at things. And you begin to say, well, geez, can you really afford 5 days off at school? It's a lot of time outside of a classroom, but you weigh the pros and cons of it, right? So we're a Catholic school, and 5 days is a long, long time to be outside of a classroom. But on the other hand, if it can get students the idea of service, what's your reflection on that, Andrew? Not so much from the student perspective, but now you're a theology department person, and you're kind of looking at how you develop this attitude of service in our students. How would you reflect upon it?
This is my second year teaching our seniors, and last year was my first year, and I would say that it was really profound, the impact that the senior service project had on our students, like from the teacher side, being able to witness that. A lot of them were very eager to unpack the experiences that they had. Many of them, like I said, were interested in continuing on and helping out in the chosen industry that they got set for service. And like I said, I think they felt like we didn't do enough, right? Like they had kind of maybe been so wrapped up in all of the difficulties of senior year and all the excitement of senior year, but taking that step back, they were like, there's a lot in this world that is besides me, and a lot of suffering, and a lot of people need help. And it's not just like we need to help them, but they were also kind of personally transformed by it. Like they kind of learned things about themselves, and we broke it down. All the seniors had to write a synthesis essay, like the same essay across all the different classes. And there were some really good reflections on just kind of their place in the project, and how there was this kind of sense of humility that even though what they did is very little, it was still very impactful.
Yeah. So Colin, talk a little bit about what happens after the week long. Like what are the activities around senior service once the service activity is over?
So yeah, we write reflections based on those days that we were there. and then we, like Andrew said, we synthesize what that information is, and then we make a whole reflection about it as a whole. And I think that's very important to like share those stories with all of us, and then, just like recollect what we experienced ourselves.
Yeah. It's good to reflect upon an experience, and maybe not everybody will have a great experience, but some will have like life-changing experiences, but they will all have an experience that's worth reflecting upon, whether it's good, bad, somewhere in between. And that's part of the learning process, and the hope is that everybody has this transformational awakening that service is the theme of life. But of course we know that that's not true, but if it takes a step in that direction, and maybe some students take a bigger step and others not so much, it's okay, because people have to come into these roles at their own pace, and not everyone's ready to go out and be the savior of the service project, but other people might really embrace it. And so that's really what the week is about. Thank you guys for coming, and let's see what happens, and maybe we can do a reflection after to see, okay, this is the before, what you're anticipating, and maybe after we can talk about what really happened to you guys. Yeah. That's it for the Weekly Juan Diego. I want to thank Mr. Zinman and Kolin Rasmussen, our senior class president, for being here, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Juan Diego.